everyone, welcome to Literophile. The literary term that we will be discussing today is oxymoron. Now, most of us should be familiar with the term oxymoron as a figure of speech. Now, let us try tracing it right from its origins. So, it is a Greek word, and the exact meaning of the word oxymoron is pointedly foolish. So the word oxymoron comes from Greek, and the exact meaning of it is pointedly foolish, or as you could say, sharply foolish. Now let's take a look at the definition of the term oxymoron. Oxymoron is a figure of speech which combines incongruous and apparently contradictory words and meanings for a special effect. So you could say the key word in the definition is contradictory. So it's putting together two contradictory words in order to create a desired effect. Now, as a good example, we could quote from Charles Lamb, who is a very popular essayist. And there is a remark that Lamb comes up with. It goes like this: I like a smuggler. He is the only honest thief. He is the only honest thief. So the phrase honest thief in itself could be seen as a classic example for oxymoron, because it is again putting together honest. How can a thief be honest? It's like a thief is being a thief means being dishonest. So honest thief is a very good example of an oxymoronic phrase. Now let's take a look at the purposes, the different purposes of using an oxymoron in a prose or even poetry. Now, one of the intended purposes would be to create a dramatic effect. Okay, to create a dramatic effect. Now, take the example of the oxymoronic phrase absolutely unsure. Absolutely unsure. So, here, using this oxymoronic phrase, we are able to emphasize on the uncertainty using the word absolutely, which is right in contrast with the word unsure. So it gives you an extra dramatic effect. Another purpose, I would say, is to create a playful tone. All right. So to create a playful tone. Now let's take a look at the example original copy. Original copy. The word copy itself means that it's not original. So putting together these two words creates a very playful tone or a very comical effect. Now, another purpose of using oxymorons would be to reveal some kind of a deeper meaning. All right? To reveal some kind of a deeper meaning. Now, say for example, the phrase bitter sweet. Now, one look at the phrase bitter sweet, and we understand the double-sided idea, the double-sided existence of a specific idea. Now, yet another purpose would be to create an ironic effect or irony. Say irony would be yet another purpose of using an oxymoronic phrase. Now look at the phrase civil war. It's an often used phrase, civil war. At the surface level, you don't find any problem or any oxymoronic reaction, but you identify that the word war in itself is being impolite. Only being impolite leads to war. So it is the word war is far away from being courteous and polite, which is the word meaning of civil. So there is again an ironical effect that is created with the help of this phrase civil war. So these could be seen as the four different purposes for which an oxymoronic phrase is used. All right. Now, oxymoron is a phrase that is often confused with two other literary devices. One is antithesis, and the next one is paradox. All right, it's often confused with these two terms, two other literary devices, in terms of all three being devices where contradictions exist to create a desired effect. Now, for a simple differentiation, you could probably say that in oxymoron, we are looking at a phrase with two contradicting words. All right, phrase with two contradicting words, and that two contradicting words or two words of opposite meaning to create an intended effect. On the other hand, when you come to antithesis, it is more likely a statement, okay, with two contradicting ideas. Okay, so it might exist in the form of two different phrases or two different clauses. So it is a statement with two contradicting ideas. Okay, two ideas or two opposing ideas. I would say two opposing ideas. So if oxymoron is a phrase with two opposing words, you could classify or you could consider antithesis as a statement with two opposing ideas. Now let's take a look at paradox. In terms of paradox, you could say that it is a situation with two opposing ideas. So this is a very fundamental way of differentiating between oxymoron, antithesis, and paradox. In oxymoron, it is a phrase with two opposing words. Antithesis is a statement with two opposing ideas, and paradox is a situation with two opposing ideas. While all these three are intended at creating or are aimed at creating a desired effect or generating a desired effect through that particular phrase or through the particular literary device. Now, we also see that it is a common device that is found in English poetry, mostly in English poetry, and was particularly popular in the late 16th and also during the whole of 17th century. Now, let's look at a few popular examples from literature. All right, so the first example would be, say, from Romeo and Juliet, where Romeo actually talks comically, or he jests about love. All right, and some of the notable oxymorons that come in that paragraph would be loving hate, all right, loving hate, and heavy lightness. All right, so these two are it's evidently two oxymoronic phrase, loving hate and heavy lightness, which are very evidently opposing words put in conjunction, like, one against the other, juxtaposed one against the other. Now, another well-known example would be from Milton. Now, Milton's description of hell in Paradise Lost. Okay, in Paradise Lost, you find Milton describing hell, and in that line, no light but rather darkness visible. So here also he makes use of the very famous oxymoronic phrase, darkness visible. Now, yet another example would be from Tennyson. Okay, Tennyson's poem Lancelot and Elaine. Tennyson's poem Lancelot and Elaine. So in this work, you find Tennyson coming up with yet another very famous, often quoted example of oxymoronic phrase, which is faith unfaithful. Faith unfaithful. All right, so these three can be seen as classic examples of oxymoron quoted directly from literature. So for a quick recap, oxymoron is a figure of speech, and by definition you could say that it is a figure of speech that combines incongruous and apparently contradictory words and meanings for a special effect. Now, you could take a classic example from Lamb when he says honest thief. The phrase honest thief is a classic example of oxymoron. And if you look at the purposes for which an oxymoron is made use of, one would be to create a dramatic effect. The second one would be for a playful tone. The third one in order to reveal a deeper meaning. And the fourth one to create an ironical effect. And now oxymoron is often confused with two other literary devices. One is antithesis and the second one is paradox. For a fundamental way of differentiating between the three, you could say that while oxymoron focuses on a phrase with two opposite words to create a desired effect, antithesis focuses on a statement with two opposing ideas in order to create a similar desired effect. But on the other hand, paradox focuses on a situation with two opposing ideas. So this could be a very fundamental, fundamental way, a very basic way of differentiating between oxymoron, antithesis and paradox. Now, for looking at three very important, or three particular examples of oxymoron from literature, you could say from Romeo and Juliet, where Romeo talks about love, he uses the phrases loving hate and heavy lightness. Similarly, in Paradise Lost, Milton's Paradise Lost, you have a phrase darkness visible. And in Tennyson's Lancelot and Elaine, you have a phrase faith unfaithful. So these could be seen as three very important examples of oxymoron in literature. All right, so that's all for today. I'll get back to you all in another video with more inputs on literature. Thank you and have a nice day.